Larry, we have a great guest this week. This is going to be an epic conversation. Why don't you introduce our good friend and let's dive in?
Wow. Well, I guess the first word, and he already knows it because I tell it to him all the time. The first word that comes to mind when I think of Jack Hubbard's legendary, because, and this is why, when I travel around and run into people, you know, that I respect, I said, hey, just out of curiosity, have you ever heard of Jack Hubbard? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to go, let me tell you a story about Jack Hubbard, right? Whether it's Meredith Elliott Powell and some of the people that I look up to. So I've enjoyed over the course of the past year, and I'm not going to hold it against Jack because Jack's a Cubs fan, but they've actually won the World Series since the Dodgers have. So without further ado, welcome Jack Hubbard to Selling from the Heart.
Larry, Daryl, great to be with you guys today. And a legend means that I'm old, and that's a fact.
Jack, it's all up here, man. It's all up here.
Yes, along with my golf team.
Experience, trustworthy. There's so many other great acronyms.
Yeah, my wife will tell you that Abraham Lincoln took my birthday off, so that's how old I am.
Well, hey, Jack, I'm so honored that you're on the podcast today because I know you've been a champion for authenticity in the financial services industry. And I'm curious as we start, the question that we ask all of our guests, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your answer on this. What does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Well, that's an easy question, Daryl. And I read a sales book a week, and I always have this close to me because it's so practical, and it's just a marvelous read. Congratulations again, Larry, for doing that. As far as the answer to the question, it is an easy one. It's trust and value. When we started in this business, I'll tell you a quick story. Starting this business 20 years ago, my wife knew that we didn't have a whole lot of business, and so she went to a bookstore and found this book called The Trusted Advisor, and it was written by a guy named Charles Green. And I have this terrible habit of when someone sends me a book like Larry did, I pick up the phone and call Larry, and I'll say, well, why did you write the book? Tell me a little bit about it. So I called Charlie, and The Trusted Advisor is an epic and a classic book, certainly in the business realm. And I've gotten to know Charlie over the years, and we've had a lot of good discussion around how bankers need to do a better job with trust. You would think they do, but they don't. And value. And I always tell my clients that if you can provide value, you're going to differentiate yourself so much, and the bar is set so low for our industry in a lot of ways. If you can just do a little bit better, you're going to be twice as good as the competition.
Yeah. Wow.
But here's what's interesting about it, because whether that be in the banking world, which you're massively familiar with, whether that be in the sales world where Daryl and I came out of, when we talk about trust, we talk about value, we talk about authenticity, we talk about being genuine, but we still talk about it. And where do you think the disconnect lies? I'm curious what your thoughts are, since there's been great books written about it. There's been great, white papers. There's been blogs. There's been discussions around this. Why do you think we're still talking about it in 2019?
It's a great question. And I'll tell you what I believe the short answer is to it, and then I'll expand quickly. The answer is, when all is said and done, more is said than done.
There you go.
We do a lot of training. We're in a lot of banks. And people shake their heads, they fill out smile sheets, and they go back to their desk and they don't change. Part of the challenge is, and you wrote about it too, and a lot of books do, is that when they go back to their desk, they're not mentored by someone who cares the same as the outside training company does. And there's so much disconnect. There's so much misalignment in our industry between what is on the website and what I see in meetings. So, for example, I'll look at a website and there'll be words like partner and relationship and lots of nice pictures, and they let dogs in their branch. And then I'll go to the pipeline meeting, and all they care about is beating up people for numbers. When there's that misalignment or disconnect, if I'm an employee, I'm going to gravitate to who pays my paycheck, which is my boss, not necessarily the customer, although they ultimately pay the paycheck. And part of, you mentioned selling, part of this whole idea around it is words matter, guys. Words matter. And when you talk about things like close the sale and cross-selling and all these terms, upselling, that makes the customer a victim, not a colleague, and not someone to partner with.